Right, assistant manager, listen. Going into this next game, I really need to sit back and be defensive and hope for a lucky counter-attack. Is there any formations that you recommend? Yes. Why don't you try a 5 at the back formation? Using a 5 at the back formation is often associated with sitting back, defensive and boring play, but if used correctly, it can be as deadly as any other attacking tactic. And in this episode, a new episode of Tactic Spotlight, I'm going to be showing you exactly that. A 5 at the back tactic, averaging an impressive 1.95 goals per match. Before we get into showing you this incredible tactic, if you did miss the previous episode where we showed you the 4-2-3-1 Klopp Diola by Shaquille O'Neal, make sure you go down into the description and give it a watch and use the tactic yourself. And this tactic is created by someone called VUJEVIC. Make sure you go over to FM Base and check this tactic out for yourself. All links will be in the description. Now, if we have a look at this tactic, it is utilising some very interesting roles that I personally wouldn't use, primarily because terrible at Football Manager, but ignoring that fact. The libero role, 2 complete wing-backs. It also uses one of my favourite roles, the shadow striker. Some very technical roles in this tactic. It's going to be interesting to see how this gets on with a lower league underdog type team. Delving into the team instructions, as you can see from the in possession tab, this tactic really focuses on building from the back, short, snappy passes and getting it out wide to those advanced fullbacks. So making sure that you have capable passers of the ball, aka don't loan Phil Jones, because sorry Phil, you're not exactly a great passer of the ball. And getting some decent fullbacks is going to be key to making this tactic work. And in transition, nothing too much to cover. Counter pressing, countering when possession has been won, distributing to the fullbacks and throwing it long. And finally, the outer possession tab, hounding the opposition, giving them no room to breathe with that extremely urgent pressing, high defensive and line of engagement, whilst also trying to go a little bit harder into the tackles. If we don't get the most red cards in this league with the lower league team that I'm using, I will be shocked. And because I'm an idiot, I completely forgot to add the individual instructions to the last video. Sorry about that, and thank you to the user called Richax for letting me know. What a man. This isn't happening today though. Starting off with the centre backs, the 2 ball playing defenders have only 1 instruction to their name, the pass it shorter instruction, and the libero with the dribble more instruction. Onto the wing backs, only 1 for each, and that is cross more often. And the final ones are for the strikers with dribble more, stay wider, and tackle harder. Just saying, I reiterate that red card prediction. And in a league currently dominated by 1 team, that team being Juventus, we are going to be using the Italian giants Lazio for this tactic to see if Juventus can finally be knocked off their perch. And not forgetting about other teams in this league, the likes of Inter, Milan, Napoli, Roma, Sassuolo, Atalanta, some teams that are going to make it especially difficult for us to challenge for them European spots. Now, if we have a look at where we are predicted to finish this year, we are predicted to finish in 5th place obviously behind Juventus, Inter, Napoli, Milan, but in front of teams such as Roma and Atalanta. Now, Lazio are in quite a fortunate position because a lot of the players that they do have do suit this tactic pretty well. Of course, it is helped by the fact that they probably have the best midfielder in this year's game, being Milinkovic-Savic, but with players like Luis Alberto and Ciro Immobile, who's an absolute goal machine this year, I'm expecting plenty of goals to be scored for this Lazio side. And defensively, they're not too shabby either. Their best centre-back being Acerbe, who does suit that libero role pretty well, partnered alongside Patrick and ex-Southampton man Wesley Hoyt, and the 2 full-backs being Lazari and Marasuch. Of course, them complete wing-back positions are massively important for this tactic. So for Lazio to be successful this year, Lazari and Marasuch are going to have to be putting in some good performances, hopefully getting quite a few assists to their name as well. Now, before we go over to see what the end result is at the end of this year with Lazio, do let me know what your prediction on where Lazio are going to finish with this tactic in the comment section below. And at the end of the season, this tactic has indeed surpassed the expectations of the media, finishing in 3rd place and getting us into them European spots. And I've just noticed as well, poor Juventus fans. We said we wanted to knock Juventus off their perch with this tactic. Not only has that happened, fortunately it wasn't us that won the league, but they've imploded, finishing in 7th place. Maybe Juventus actually needed this tactic instead of Lazio. And as I've just criticised Juventus, just noticed, got knocked out of the Italian Cup by them. Brilliant. We did get knocked out of the Champions League by Manchester City, getting out of the group stage, but getting knocked out in the first knockout round. And we predicted it earlier on in the episode. Immobile is doing what Immobile does best, scoring goals. 24 goals to his name this year. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get top goal scorer. That honour does go to Luis Muriel of Atalanta, who did win the league. So congratulations to Atalanta. Luis Alberto getting himself a 7.31 rating. Also 11 assists to his name and 9 man of the matches. Luis Alberto really making that shadow striker role his own, absolutely thriving in that position this year. We did, however, top some of the team's stats, more specifically being the most goals scored and most dribbles made. 75 goals scored from this Lazio side, 16 more than Cristiano Ronaldo-led Juventus, and only 5 goals coming from corners. So a lot of our goals coming from open play, unless it was penalties or free kicks. Most dribbles made, 134. Unfortunately, what did let us down, which is potentially a weakness of this tactic, is the amount of goals that we did concede. 7th place, 39 goals conceded. Not terrible, but not exactly ideal either. And when you consider that we are lower than 10th placed with Roma and 8th placed Udinese, definitely this tactic focuses on the attacking side of things with them complete win backs, maybe leaving ourselves a little bit exposed. Most points per game, we got 3rd with a 1.97. Most shots 4. We got 3rd with 550. Fewest shots against, we got 4th. Best pass completion, we weren't even on this. Lower than 87%. Most possession, not even on this either. Wow, less than 50%. Most tackles 1. We got 3rd place. Most clean sheets, we got 5th. And that is it for the team stats. Now, if we have a look at some of the other stats beneath this, we got 4 red cards. So that gets stuck in instruction. Definitely working well there for them 4 red cards. What about yellow cards? Anything here for yellow cards? It's not. But wow, 4 red cards. I mean, Udinese and Crotone got 8 red cards. Holy smokes, Jesus Christ. That is ridiculous. And if we have a little bit more of a closer look at the attacking stats of this tactic, some of the numbers are absolutely insane. 1.97 goals per game. But the most impressive thing about this tactic is the amount of clear-cut chances it creates. We are top of the table. 41 clear-cut chances created this year. 10 more than title winners Atalanta. Absolutely ridiculous. If we have a look at dribbles per game, 3.53 with that 134 dribbles made. The attacking side of this tactic is absolutely unbelievable. And if you add a team with better attacking talent than Lazio do, some of the numbers you could produce with this tactic could be absolutely outrageous. But maybe there'll be a few people that are still a little bit unsure of this tactic. Lazio being a big team in Europe, expected to challenge for the European spots. Maybe it wasn't a big enough test for this tactic. So I decided to give this tactic the biggest test possible. Throw it in the lower leagues of England with a team that are predicted to finish mid-table, not challenge for the playoffs or the title, and see how it gets on. And the team that we're going to be using is a team predicted to finish 16th in the Vanarama National League, and that team is Chesterfield. Now, this is going to be ridiculous. How did Chesterfield get on for a full season with this tactic? And just wow, Chesterfield won the Vanarama National League, automatically getting promoted, winning 25 games, only drawing 8 and losing 11, beating Notts County by 1 point to the title, beating the likes of Wrexham, Stockport, Maidenhead, big teams in the National League. But this tactic triumphed over all of them, getting a title for Chesterfield. But very similar to the season that Lazio had, as you'd expect, plenty of goals scored with this tactic. Chesterfield topping the table for goals scored with 88. Unfortunately, I was going to say what let them down, but ultimately it didn't let them down in the end, but it could have potentially done that if they did lose the title, was the amount of goals that they did concede. 58 goals conceded, a hell of a lot of goals, which, I mean, when you consider that they're on the same amount of goals conceded as Barnet, who finished in 8th, and Torquay, who finished in 15th, and only 4 less goals conceded than 22nd relegated Weymouth. But even with the amount of goals that we did concede, our goal difference was still pretty damn impressive. A 30 goal difference, only getting bettered by second place Notts County, who finished with 35. But let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, we've just won the league with a mid-table predicted Chesterfield with this tactic. Stats are sort of irrelevant when you consider how impressive this feat is. I won't lie to you, ladies and gentlemen, with the amount of technical roles that are included in this tactic, I was expecting this tactic to struggle quite a lot with a team in the sort of lower leagues of any nation, just because the lower you go down in any league system, the harder it is for players to perform in a more technical role. So the likes of Libero, the complete wing-backs and shadow strikers, very technical specialist roles. And for players to actually perform at this level and win a title with them roles is very, very impressive. However, maybe not as many good average ratings as you'd expect from a team that has just won the league. The 2 strikers in the advanced forward position getting a 7.03 and a 7.0 average rating respectively. Akwasi Asante, I completely butchered that, can only apologise, with 21 goals and 16 assists. The main man in this side, Adi Yusuf, with 17 goals and 1 assist. Our shadow striker getting 8 assists and 8 goals. And our complete wing-back, George Carline, getting 10 assists and 1 goal. And, well, quite frankly, a pathetic attempt from Joel Taylor here with 1 assist and 0 goal. But the libero getting 5 goals and 2 assists. Joseph Yarni, who, well, he's not brilliant in that role. He's absolutely incredible for this level. But in the libero role, he's not great, but still able to contribute quite heavily. And even the goalkeeper got 4 assists, actually. I can only assume that that is like a long punt upfield that's gone over the defence, and Asante or Yusuf have just notched onto it and scored. But Will Evans getting a few assists as well, and Maguire getting 7 assists in that ball-playing defender role. So plenty of assists spread around the squad, a few goals spread around the squad as well, which is nice to see. And if we hop over to the team stats for this year, we did also top some of these as we did with Lazio. Most points per game being at a 1.89, what you'd expect from a team that has just won the league. Most goals scored with 88, only 7 goals scored from corners. So same as Lazio, plenty of goals scored from open play unless it's a penalty or free kick. Most shots, 4. We were 4th place with 550. Fewest shots against in 5th place with 410. Now, best pass completion and most possession, I don't expect us to be anywhere near this, if I'm honest. I'm starting to think that this tactic is all about creative risk. So it doesn't really care about keeping the ball. It's all about throwing numbers forward, getting as many people in the box as possible. So if we have a look at best pass completion, we're not in the top 8. Most possession, not in the top 8 either. Most tackles won, we did top this. It's a little bit strange with 887 tackles won. I didn't expect us to be here, nor did I really care about this stat, if I'm honest. It's not really one of the stats you tend to focus on. Most dribbles made, we were 2nd with 85 dribbles. Most clean sheets, we weren't on here, and fewest conceded, which could have let us down. We're not on here either. With us committing so many people forward, we are going to concede a lot of goals. So with this tactic, you really need to make sure that your defence is half decent, or this tactic is going to score plenty of goals, but you're probably going to be winning games 5-4, 6-3. Loads of goals conceded, but just scoring as many goals. More goals than the opposition. You want to score more goals than the opposition, right? And that is the epitome of this tactic, I feel like. And what I predicted did come to fruition. That get stuck in instruction, working absolute bloody wonders in the lower leagues of England. We topped the amount of yellow cards, 91 yellow cards. We were also a joint top with Barnet with the most red cards. So our boys love hurting people, apparently. The further we go down here, if we go into the attacking side, we're probably going to be pretty high on all of these, as you'd expect. Expected goals for with 70 goals expected throughout the year. Clear-cut chances created. Once again, this is the ridiculous part of this tactic. We got 10 more than second place Notts County, who had 33, and we had 43 clear-cut chances. That is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely redonkulous. Shots on target ratio at 51%, conversion rate of 16%, and fouls against at 670. Triples per game, how many did we get? 1.93, just behind Aldershot. How much did we lose possession, actually? So we're quite high on this. We're currently sat in 5th place with 3,836 times we have lost possession. So, as I said before, right, this sort of highlights that a little bit more, that it's all about that creative risk, and this tactic really shoves that to the forefront, just getting the ball as high up as you can. Now, I do dread to think what the defending stats are going to look like, I won't lie. Expected goals against, we are pretty low on this. Yeah, so we were only expected to concede 45 goals throughout the year. We obviously did concede a little bit more than that. We conceded 55 goals, I believe it was. 58 goals, so we did concede a little more than what was expected of us. Fouls made 864 and tackles won 887. Do we top any more of these? We don't. How many times did we win possession? Not a lot. 3,202. So we are, as expected, dominating the attacking stats, but pretty poor on the defending side. But once again, it's all about the fact that we've got ourselves promoted. And I mean, this tactic, if you haven't downloaded this tactic already, I would urge you to do so. It's an absolutely fantastic tactic, especially if you're in the lower leagues of any nation. I mean, you can see the results for yourself, right? Winning the league, it's absolutely bloody brilliant. But we are going to come towards the end of the video, of course. If you do enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be alerted when any sort of these videos are released. And if you do download this tactic, or you've used it before, do let me know your experience with it and let me know how it goes in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I do really appreciate it. Give me any feedback or anything in the comment section as well. It really, really does help. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.